Hello. So, hello, good morning, guys. So, let them join others. I will start with the this chapter about the acute toxicity, chronic and subacute toxicity. In last class, we have discussed regarding the introduction for the OECD. Okay, like nothing but Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Okay, so that time I gave you the some introductory part, like when it has been established and what is the function and who all are the member countries. Okay, so we have seen that it has been started in the April 1948. Again in 71 it has been reformed. Okay, and in presently there are 37 member countries are there. Okay, so all countries are those who are the part of this OECD, they are the developed country. Okay, so what is why this has come into the picture? Because like to make the standardization of the procedure or some of the harmful substance, like during the World War I and World War II, that time it was very like cruelty to the war prisoner, like whatever the chemical they will prepare for the any new drug or any new molecule. So, or it could be a toxic or biochemical or bio as a bio weapon that they used to perform on the war prisoners. So to avoid this cruelty, afterwards this hello, am I audible? Uh, hello.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Okay, wait. Okay, so now hopefully my voice is audible. So, like I was discussing about this OECD. Okay, see, what is the main purpose for this? Main purpose for this, it was like during the World War One and Two, the prisoner has been tested for the toxic chemical. Okay, so therefore this organization has come, and it has been come as a organization for European Economic Cooperation and Development. Later on, it has been reformed, and it has been become OECD. So now we'll see what are the objective of this OECD. Okay, see, its objectives are to protect the man and environment. Okay, and there should be a high quality instrument, and the compound or the any new molecule which are coming into the market, they should have that efficiency. Okay, and that should share the burden. It's not like that only one person who is having the developing all those things, so all responsibility to them. So it is a like teamwork. Okay, and avoid duplication, so there should not be any kind of biopiracy or anything. Okay, and they should be only pertaining to the new and originality. Okay, and then avoid non-tariff barriers to the trade. So this is mainly for the trade purpose, like whenever any like at present, if you take example. Okay, see, for that COVID-19, okay, that is a pandemic situation. If you take this example, so whenever in future if you get any kind of vaccine or any drug for that particular pandemic, so there should be no barrier for the trade of that COVID vaccine to the all over world. Okay, it should be having the smooth business into the world. Okay, so it should not be like that. That one member country will say we have not done the clinical trial, so we are not allowing. Some member country said this particular country has manufactured this, so we are not trusting all those things. So this should all avoid. It should be avoided, and therefore these 37 member countries, those who are highly developed, so based upon their guidelines, okay, based upon what they are doing, okay, so it will be accepted by the whole world. Okay, these are the main objectives. See, protect man and environment, obviously. See, whenever you are preparing any new molecule or any new synthetic or herbal thing, so your main aim is that whatever the drug composition you are doing, it should having the safety and efficacy to the human being as well as environment. Okay, if there is any toxic thing, okay, so obviously it is not going to protect to any human being. Okay, so an environment, why environment? Because some of the chemical will be there which generate the fumes. Okay, so that fume should not be harm the environment in any other manner. Okay, it should be like that whatever chemical, like for example you take pesticide, okay, or insecticide, and nowadays we'll take a latest example like sodium hypochlorite, which is a consist of the bleaching agent. Okay, so that bleaching agent we use nowadays to to sanitize our home. If any person who had the COVID situation in their family, so they use this sodium hypochlorite. So how they use it is a like 5% bleaching agent. It should be having like composition like 1 liter into a 10-liter water. Okay, so it will be having the less fume which can be harm the any man of that particular family and surrounding environment, because the smell, okay, it will be so so kind of smells which will be like lead to the asthma if it is be used in a very strong composition. Okay, so therefore you need to make your composition such as that it should be having the environment protection and men protection. Okay, then this is the like very old number. As per the 1995, the estimate number of chemical near about 50 lakhs. Okay, but what are number of chemical which are available commercialized is 80,000. Among that 80,000, that 72,000 are industrial chemical. Okay, so industrial chemical, as you know, like whatever the chemical which has been used by the industry, it should may be having the some of the toxic effect. Okay, And every year in the worldwide, or especially you can say, we are taking the one of the developed country example, that is USA. There every year they will identify 2000 new chemical. Okay, and among 2000 only in the USA. Okay, rest of the world will identify 1000 chemical. Okay, so this is what you need. In among this there will be a pesticide. Okay, so pesticide having the 600 numbers. Okay, so from these 600 they will generate or they will manufacture near about 21,000 product from this 600 chemicals. Okay, then you have food additives. Okay, near about 8,700. And there will be a cosmetic ingredient near about 7,500, and there will be a 40,000 product every year. Among them, human pharmaceutical, which has been used near about 3,300 chemicals. So you can see a list of chemical as per the 1995, that number of chemical, how much they are generating, and how much chemical they are using into the particularly industry. See, in pesticide, like pesticide will be a highly toxic if they will be used in the raw quantity, or it will be like as used as a concentration. Okay, so whenever you are using any pesticide in the farming or anywhere, so you always need to be diluted. And some of the, like nowadays one of the trend is there, that organic food. Okay, so what is organic food? Organic food nothing but which are free from any pesticide, insecticide, and all those things you are getting in the raw. But nowadays you also know that many of things which are, like you can say, seasonable, fruit, vegetable, all those things will be there. Okay, but nowadays you are getting all those things in a all 12 year, sorry, 12 month. Okay, so how you are getting all these things for a 12-month? See, because they are using some of the additives to preserve for a longer period of time. Okay, so this preservative should be no less toxic. Okay, because at the end consumer is the human being. Okay, so therefore it should be having the low toxicity. Okay, then cosmetic ingredient, again, why it is has been considered as a point for in this, because like many of you people use cosmetics, so you know very well that cosmetics should be free from any hazardous reaction. Okay, hazardous reaction nothing but whenever some person will use any cosmetic, so they should not be having any allergic agent. Like suppose you take some of the you can say foundation or any cosmetic preparation. Okay, so that cosmetic preparation, it should be like that. There should be, if any synthetic agent is there, like for example arsenic is there, or lead is there, or any kind of agent, it should be having the minimum prescribed quantity into a ppm. Okay, it should not be having the more amount of the prescribed quantity, because if it is a more amount of that prescribed quantity, then might be some person who are using this kind of cosmetic, they may lead to the some allergic reaction. So whenever, if any new person is using any new cosmetic, so what they will do to identify whether it is safe for them or not? So you can do one thing. Okay, for example, I'll give you the best example for hair dyes. Okay, or hair color. See, if any person who are using this hair color, so what you can do, like to avoid this allergy, whether you know or not that you are allergic to this particular hair color, so what you take little hair color into your hand and apply below the ear. Okay, and keep it for 1 or 2 hours. If you see any kind of will responses in that particular 2 hour, or redness is there, or any kind of flushes will be there, so then you think that you are allergic to this particular composition of hair color, so you should avoid that hair color. Okay, because once without having the allergic test, if you are using into your hair, might be you lead to the very severe allergic condition. Okay, so therefore this also included here. Okay, then in human pharmaceuticals. Okay, in human pharmaceutical, as you know, like many of chemical will be used, many of additive excipients all will be used, or some of the substance which has been used in the oral formulation as a syrup. Okay, so all those things, like this is the one of the best example I can give you is that codeine phosphate syrup. Okay, terbutaline syrup. Okay, so this all syrup like should having the minimum amount of this codeine sulfate and terbutaline. Why? Because these are considered as a addictive substance, and these are the only product of the prescription product of the registered medical practitioner. Nothing but a doctor only can prescribe this cough syrup. Okay, these are mainly used in the cough syrup. Okay, so therefore this like you, if you go and buy this codeine phosphate syrup, normally if you ask as a OTC product, a pharmacist will not give until unless if you have very good close bonding with them. Okay, so therefore this human pharmaceutical also a part of this OECD guidelines. Okay, see, if you have any doubt in between, you can ask, unmute yourself, and you can ask the question. See, in 1981, OECD Council decision on the mutual acceptance of data for assessment of chemical. Okay, so it decided that data generated in the testing of chemicals in a OECD member country in accordance with OECD test guidelines and OECD principle of good laboratory practice shall be accepted in other member countries for purpose of assessment and other uses relating to the protection of man and the environment. The same thing which I said earlier. See, the member country of the OECD, like you can take example. For example, one country is a USA, one country is a France, one country is a UK, and one country is a Australia. Okay, so this four country, among four countries, if any one country who is doing any testing as per their guidelines, as per the good laboratory practice. Okay, suppose Australia did on some chemical, so it has been mutually accepted by UK, USA, and France. It has been not like that barrier to that. Okay, Australia have done. Why we will again redo it? Okay, you can do it for your safer side, but if Australia is giving you data for that, you have to accept that data. Okay, because they are the part of the member country. Okay, so this is what it meant to say. See, what is the procedure for the development of OECD test guidelines? See, there is a essential criteria to be met before considering a proposal. Okay, so what are the things which need to be considered? First of all, regulatory need and data requirement. So this regulatory need and data requirement nothing but whenever you are performing any new entity toxicity. Okay, so you always need to be document all your data. Okay, it should not be like that. Suppose if you done one toxicity study of a particular dose on a particular animal. Okay, if suppose that animal might die due to the toxic effect, so you should not omit that thing. Okay, you should consider that thing, that at particular dose this number of animal died. Okay, so what you can save from this thing, so you can save other people to repeat the same thing and to harm the animal. Okay, so this is what it will be a first thing. Okay, and again that whenever you are performing any kind of animal study, you need to be take approval. Okay, so this all will be considered as a regulatory part. See, suppose if you are doing any animal study in Cayley College of Pharmacy. Okay, so in Cayley College of Pharmacy, if you are doing any animal study, so you need to take IAEC. IAEC nothing but Institutional Animal Ethics Committee. Okay, I'm just repeating, Institutional Animal Ethics Committee. Okay, so this Institutional Animal Ethics Committee is a part of CPCSEA. Okay, CPCSEA. It is nothing but committee for the purpose of control and supervision of experimental animals.